Welcome to Botherum and happy Derby Day. I know this is different from normal derbies that we have, which is so much fun. It's one of the greatest days of my life I can remember, and anybody that goes, they'll never forget it. But we're going to do something a little bit different today, and I'm going to show you how I throw a little party for Derby or for any kind of party here. But first step is to come in. I always have the drinks in the kitchen. And I always have like Prosecco or white wine for people that want that. And notice it's this is a top hat. And so during the bicentennial, people were obsessed with Abraham Lincoln and George Washington, anything about our past. And this is the biggest one I've ever seen. Most of them are there for pin holders and everything like that, but I collect them. I like to collect stuff, and most of the stuff here, it may look expensive, but it's just probably came from like a junk store, antique store. But what makes it easy for me to entertain is having this thing right here. I started out making a big batch of Maker's Mark Old Fashions, and then I looked in the fridge and I had extra blueberries and pineapple and oranges and everything, and I just threw it in there. Real easy recipe that you can look up, you can see online. But the longer it sits in your fridge, the better it gets. And then when people come to your house unexpected, you're ready to entertain. I don't want to be behind doing all this stuff. This is the best thing in the world. Then of course, on Derby Day, mint julep is what you have to have. And the way that Miss Ann Evans does it, I used to work for her in college. I was her bartender. She is now the executive director of the Governor's Mansion for both sets of Bashirs. But she boils, she uses a certain mint called Kentucky Colonel. It's a big leaf, it's very mild, and she boils it in the water when she's making her simple syrup. And you can keep that syrup in the fridge for probably 2 or 3 months because it's so good you'll want it after Derby. When I do a mint julep, do it in a tall glass. I use Sonic crushed ice, or you can crush it yourself if you've got time. And today, during this whole pandemic, we probably have time to do all this. But I serve them with this is not only a stirrer, but it's a spoon. These, I collect these, you can find them at all kinds of antique stores for nothing because nobody really wants them, but I love them. I own 100 of them when I entertain. Another thing you can do for any party, it doesn't have to be just Derby, but any party, is having a bourbon tasting. But I learned early on when I would throw parties at my 1850s farmhouse in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, they would really pretty much vote on the bottle. It was all about the bottle or the name. So what I do is, this is my own little idea, I don't know if anybody ever does this, but what I do is I'll take a certain amount of bourbons, and I have a number on the bottom that nobody can see, and then I have the number on these. This is like, Catholic school. Everybody's in the same uniform. And everybody gets to sip it, and you can try it. And you're really, little bit, but you can, then you write down what your favorite is. So this is Thomas, who works for me. He's my landscape architect. And he put down number 2. I've not read this yet, but number 2 and number 6. Why? Number 2, smooth, dark, almost like a dessert. Number 6, hard to believe it's alcohol. Goes back easy. Then at the end of the party, you go through and you announce which one it is, and you find out who the winner is. But then you can really tell what people are liking rather than just being blown out by the bottle. First stop is always the kitchen, which is the heart of your house, and I always have the cocktails in here. People can come and get them. That's the first place you come to, and then you go in to where I keep the food, which is the dining room. So here I have a 7-foot diameter dining room table that came out of the Quaker City Hunt Club outside of Philadelphia, built in 1872 out of black walnut. And I love a round table because everyone's equal. But when I have a party, I pull the chairs back. And by the way, these chairs came out of a bank from the 50s or 60s. Most of them, they were dark green leather. These are blue, which I love. Here are some of my really easy things for entertaining a lot of people. One is buying frozen shrimp, let it thaw, put it in a bowl, and that's amazing. Always have kettle chip potato chips, and this is my mentor and my best friend, Christopher Hersheimer. She started Savoir magazine, and I moved her and her husband next door to me in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. This is her famous blue cheese dip. 3 ingredients, mix it together, done. A way that you can feed a lot of people is get a big old beautiful piece of salmon at Kroger's, put it in an ironstone platter, put it in a cold oven, turn it on, bake it till it starts bubbling up all that good, what is it, omega-3s, and then you shut it off. That's the best thing. Then you serve it chilled. You can do that in the morning. Kentucky is known for the best country ham in the world. And these are little pieces that I've cooked. And they're real salty, and it makes bourbon taste even better. And then Jake's sausage that I love from Bardstown. And this stuff makes you famous. You cook this for somebody, they will fall in love. Another easy thing to do is I buy Murray's cheese from Kroger's. They have great quality. A very famous Kentucky dish is Benedictine, and it's cream cheese and a little bit of onion and cucumbers, real fresh. And historically, you would eat it on a little white bread. You cut the edges off, and it was like garden club lady kind of food. But I don't want to do that. We were never allowed to have white bread growing up because we were health freaks. So I eat it with whole wheat crackers. Another thing that I'm crazy about is olive nut. I have tubs of this because that's how much I like it. I eat a little bit every night. It just makes me happy. At these times, you gotta be happy. Let's just be happy. And then I have some assorted nuts here from Bourbon Barrel. That's an amazing company in Louisville. Everything they make is high quality. I love it. Gotta have vegetables, because you have those people. And then always have the desserts in here. And this is the drawing room. So to make things easy in your house and to keep the flow moving, I have the drinks in the kitchen always. I have the food in the dining room, and the desserts in this big drawing room. And you notice there's not a lot of them, but it's old Kentucky things. This is Bauer. This is their new candy. This has been around for about 150 years. Unbelievable. Salt caramel with bourbon flavor. Unbelievable stuff. And notice I have a cake if there's a birthday party, but really I just like little things where people can just pick up and nibble instead of having to have to do a lot of work, Well, thanks for watching, and hope you've had a good time and learned a little bit about Kentucky traditions. And come visit Lex and the rest of the beautiful Kentucky.